on a 10-minute walk. 10-minute walk with a 40-pound weighted vest. Cruising around over here, downtown Davis. Might get a lift in later today, might get a run in later today. Looks like people are jumping on here pretty good. So there's probably some shit I should address. But first, let me share with you that I think walking is a really great thing for people to pick up, and whatever amount of steps you're normally taking in a day, if you can start to bring that up a bit, if you're someone that doesn't currently walk that much. I committed myself to doing 20,000 steps every day for the whole month, and that's been a little rigorous. It's been kind of challenging here and there, but I'm enjoying it. And then I would also say, like, for those of you that are fit, try to bring your walk up a little bit. It's okay to just go and walk and stroll. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You can still do that, but occasionally make it a little more challenging. Either walk with a sled, walk with a weighted vest, hike, whatever it might be. So there's probably a lot of questions about YouTube, and I want to first say that I love YouTube. I am a person that doesn't read very much. I do not read often. Most of my reading comes from reading stuff that might be on some social media here and there, just kind of scrolling through. I'm not a big book reader. In fact, I've had people on the show before stop me for a second while we're in conversation and say, hey, like, have you like studied philosophy? Have you read this book? Have you read that book? And I'm always like, no. And I've had other people stop me when it comes to some other stuff like nutrition and some of these things. And I think not because I'm saying I'm hyper intelligent or anything like that. I don't that's not my point. My point is that I've been able to keep up with some high level experts that we've had on the show and get inquisitive with them and get in deep and get past the baby talk on a lot of stuff. And it's for one reason. It's because of YouTube. It's because for a decade and a half, I've been researching stuff and looking up stuff on YouTube. When somebody says they've been researching stuff and they're not a scientist and they're not a doctor, they pretty much mean that they fucking Googled something or that they YouTubed it, right? And for me, I don't even use any other platforms. I don't use Yahoo or Google or whatever else. I know there's better options to really find some juicy information. And some of you guys know what those sites are and know what those search engines are. But I don't know or care about any of them. You want to know why? It's because I get my information from YouTube. The great Bones Jones, the greatest fighter of all time, Bones Jones, when asked about how he learned his striking and how to strike so precisely, he said one word. He said YouTube. That's crazy, right? Now when their sink gets messed up, their toilet gets backed up, and they're not sure how to fix it, needs more than just a plunger, where do you go? You go to YouTube. Anytime there's any situation, any how-to, people no longer read those books, Cooking for Dummies and stuff like that. They go on YouTube and they look it up. You want to do the carnivore diet, you YouTube it. And you get experience from other people that have done it. You want to learn how to cook meals for a carnivore diet. You do some searches and you find someone like Maria Emmerich and you learn how to cook these amazing carnivore meals. You learn how to make a carnivore bread. Where do you learn how to do that? You learn how to do it on YouTube. Where are we learning so much stuff? It's from YouTube. And to have YouTube strike me down the way that they did, and strike down my team, and strike down Mark Bell's power project, is shocking in a lot of ways. And I'm not shocked easily. You guys know I practice equanimity, being even. And I'm still even. This isn't moving me too far one way or the other. However, I think it's an injustice. I think it's bullshit. Because we didn't get a warning. We weren't aware of an infraction. They just pulled us. And I'm not looking for anybody to cry with me, and I'm not crying myself. I am sustained in my life in every possible, imaginable way that you can possibly think of. I have enough love, I have enough hugs, I have enough friends, I have enough of everything. And I even have stuff to where it's just like, man, I don't even know what to do with this. I got too much stuff. I got stuff coming out of other stuff. I got stuff coming out of everywhere. Because stuff's just flowing and growing and going, and there's just stuff everywhere. Literally, an explosion. As my mother called it, she called it a tsunami money wave. Is what she said that I was able to produce. And so much of that has been from YouTube. Now, there's money that you make off of YouTube, and then there's money that you make sort of from having a YouTube that's more indirect. And I have made millions of dollars via YouTube. The first place anyone's ever seen the slingshot is YouTube. The first time that my son met his sister, I filmed it and posted it to YouTube. Because this is a monumental moment. This is a big moment in history. I built my businesses off of YouTube. Now again, there wasn't direct sales from YouTube because you couldn't link your shit up to there the way that you can now in YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. You couldn't have a store on there or anything like that, so I wasn't really making money off of YouTube per se. But I was making money off of YouTube. Big time. The first videos of the slingshot, they were all posted on YouTube. Any new inventions, any new products, I came to you guys first and I showed you first, even when there was a danger of somebody ripping off the product. Because I knew that people were going to see it, and I knew that people were going to care, and that's why I started filming stuff in the first place. I started to say, you know what, my group is extraordinary. After I squatted 900 pounds, squatted 903 at Super Training Gym location number 2. 905 in training. And I said to myself, the gloves are off. It's time to talk. I don't care how scared you are of talking, and I was scared to talk in front of the camera. I was super nervous. It was very hard for me to make some of those videos. We did the Never Enough series, which is on YouTube. We did DVDs of it. Started a podcast on YouTube years ago. Mark Bell's Powercast, and then it later became Mark Bell's Power Project. We shot so many videos of Super Training Gym. Jim McD back in the day. You guys remember Jim McD, Silent Mike. Those guys were all part of it. You guys remember those videos. And now we get pulled down without an explanation, without a warning. And then nowadays we have a team, we have a squad, and so we were able to poke around, and I think we ended up finding some dude off the internet that poked around enough and found out why we got canceled, or whatever you want to call it. And it's because we had a link in one of our podcasts. I have a newer podcast that I do with my buddy Kenny Williams, a young bodybuilder, and we call that podcast Anabolic Activities, which, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Things being a little anabolic, right? But I guess YouTube has a policy against directing people to any links where there's potential stuff being sold there that doesn't have a prescription. So to me, in my conspiratorial ways, I kind of think it's a little bit of a big pharma thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to get struck by lightning or if this feed's going to get shut down. But I think that's where some of it stems from, to be honest with you. This was something that I wasn't really aware of. I didn't know that was a policy. Anyway, it's all like smaller details that really are irrelevant. But I think what we're dealing with here and what I want to focus on is I just don't think that's a good practice from YouTube. I don't think it's a good policy to just rip someone down. I mean, this website sells like L-carnitine and it sells some peptides and stuff like that, but peptides are pretty benign. And a lot of the stuff on this website I wouldn't deem as being like harmful. But anyway, I mean, that's again, small, weird details. And I could see an argument from their side. I could see their perspective. And I think that's the key here, is the perspective. Not their perception, but their perspective. Because the perception is, oh, Mark Bell, he's been talking about steroids forever. His stuff must have got ripped down for talking about steroids. That is what happened, but to keep a clean perspective on it, I think we have to think outside of that for a second. We have to think, what's fair? People talk about steroids all the time. I'm the first one. I'm the original. I'm the OG. I talked about it before people were talking about it. I talked about it when some of these baseball players and stuff were saying, I think I took flaxseed oil. Oh, I don't know. My coach gave me something. I don't know what it was. And there was Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and all the stuff that you saw in my brother's film, Bigger, Stronger, Faster, which, by the way, he's filming another one. He's filming it right now. He's getting some good interviews with some great people. It's going to be another huge movie. But the topic, it just won't seem to go away. And there seems to be... even now, it's weird because so many people are talking about TRT as if getting it from your doctor is somehow like way different than getting it from a dude at the gym. And all I can say is, from my experience, it's the same. It's not really any different. Obviously, you do need to be careful, but you always need to be careful, no matter where it comes from. Steroids are drugs, and they can be very powerful, and they're not a great place for anyone to start. And I talk about that all the time. I talk about it very openly. And again, that's where we go back to the perspective. The perception would be that I promote the use of anabolic steroids, and I don't. And I don't condemn it either. I'm right smack dab in the middle. I have perspective on it. Some people want to use it, and some people like it because they like the gains that they're going to get. Do I think it's healthy? No. No, I don't think it's healthy. Not even in the promotion of somebody trying to up their testosterone levels. I don't really think it's that healthy. And I think that we're going to learn more about that. I think you would rather find underlying causes for why your testosterone is low or why a hormone is off, rather than just blasting something. None of that seems to make any sense to me. And even vitamin D is a hormone that the body produces that we probably shouldn't be taking. I discontinued the use of vitamin D a while back because of that very reason. I'm like, you know what? Let me just work on trying to naturally get it. Let me figure out if I get away from blue light a little bit more and I get more sunlight, maybe I don't have to supplement vitamin D. Anyway, these are all things that I try to share. It's all information I try to share. And I love the ability to share it on YouTube. And while I may have equanimity, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of fans that were really hurt and moved deeply and pissed off, offended, whatever other words you want to use. And my friends, same thing. I've had person after person reach out to me about this particular situation. And it really irks a lot of people. People are pissed. People are mad. People are angry. Some people are even sad. And so forth. So it's, again, like, I don't give a shit that much. But I care because I know how many people out there care. And I know the relationship that we have. You guys aren't just fans, you're fanatical. I've said this before. What I've been promoting over the years isn't just exercise, it's a movement. It's a movement. It's a story about moving forward. It's a story about putting one foot in front of the other. It's a story about moving forward ferociously every single day, no matter what happens to you. No matter if someone dies or if someone steals your YouTube, no matter what it is, you pick yourself up by the bootstraps and you keep going because you need peace of mind. And the only way you're going to get a peace of mind is to keep moving, is to get your body in motion. Motion is the lotion. Movement is going to be able to be the thing that rescues us. Movement, sunlight, getting outside, getting some cold exposure, and some training. Because we don't move nearly as much as we used to, and so we need training. Some sort of training, some sort of running, some sort of lifting. These are the things I've been promoting forever. And now it tries to get silenced by ripping down my YouTube channel. But we have some cool stuff coming for you guys. I will let you know the decisions that we make coming up with Nsima and Andrew. We all three of us have a certain amount of work to do when it comes to the podcast. But when it comes to the podcast, Andrew listening, like Andrew sitting there and being part of every show, then going back and listening God knows how many times to make the proper edits and arrangements and uploads and thumbnails, and think about that. That all is not necessarily erased, but I'm sure it's still out there somewhere. But that all got essentially deleted with a push of a button from probably some 22-year-old kid who's got someone barking orders at him that if he doesn't do that, then he gets yelled at and he's got to move on to the next YouTube channel to pull down, right? Think about that. Think about the amount of hours Andrew Zaragoza has worked on the Power Project. I mean, I just stroll in. I stroll in and I just start talking. And it's great. And I'm able to just stroll in because Andrew sets shit up. Andrew and Nsima have both been really thoughtful about how to set the show up, kind of how to get the most out of most of the episodes and so forth. They both put a lot of time and effort. It's like, for me, it's just I go and I just shoot it. And to be honest with you, I think I earned that right. But for them, they put a lot of time into it. So they just have this thing it's just like someone blew their nose on it and just threw it in the toilet and just flushed it. And it's like, wait a second. We didn't do anything too crazy. At least I don't think we did. So yeah, that's where things stand for now. And I'll let you guys know more details. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. And again, I don't necessarily feel bad. I actually feel really good. I feel great about where this is going. I think this is a nice jump start. I've been praying for a moment like this in some ways because, I think sometimes we need a little bit of a wake-up call, and maybe I can take full blame. I take full blame for not understanding and not knowing the rules well enough and not understanding how that could have compromised us. I was aware of some of the situation, but I wasn't aware of the rules. And that's on me. I take responsibility for it. Even though I'm not like a YouTube person, I don't physically upload anything. I don't watch the videos. I don't do any of that, but I do hire the people that are in place for that. And I never communicated any of that to anybody, so that's on me. And I never read the fine print, so that's on me. You know, I think it's important to take full ownership. Whose fault is it? It's mine. But I think that there's going to be more positive than negative out of this, and I think there's no such thing as bad press. You've seen Vince McMahon navigate that over the years with the WWE. And I've been reached out to by a lot of big podcasts to come on their show and discuss this situation, because a lot of people are pissed and they're worried about their freedom of speech getting yanked from them. And again, YouTube is a business. YouTube is an establishment. I understand that while we do have freedom of speech, there's got to be some laws. There's got to be some rules. And within the confines of a company, such as YouTube, a big company, they have to have a lot of rules probably, right? And those rules need to be diligently written and interpreted and reinterpreted. And so what I'm asking for is that they start to reinterpret some of the rules that they have down, because without a warning just seems like it doesn't seem like it makes any sense, I guess I'll say. Rather than saying it's unfair, makes me sound like a baby. I just think it's nonsensical. I don't think it's rational. I do understand pausing something and saying, hey, you know, you're banned for the next week. We found this infraction. We're going to let you know more about it in the next couple days. All that makes sense. And it's their business. They can run it whatever way they want, you know. So, anyway, I said this in Bigger, Stronger, Faster. And it's part of my story. But I love steroids. I'll be on and off them probably the rest of my life. I said in that film, and it's something I got into, and now to try to switch things up or to move away from it at this time would be very difficult. But it's something I might entertain in the future. You never know. Maybe be less reasons for me to get banned or canceled. I feel honored. I feel honored that I'm even on anybody's radar enough. Final thoughts here. Remember, if you're watching The Power Project, you have no life. And if you're not watching The Power Project, it also means you have no life. And if you're able to watch The Power Project, it means that you have some sort of weird YouTube link that... Just kidding. Anyway, strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later.